Every moment of your life is arriving through a living interface. Before the world becomes a thought, it first becomes a signal. How the body turns the world into experience. Most people imagine the body as something they have, a vehicle, a container, a machine carrying the mind from one place to another. But what if the body is something far more intimate than that? What if the body is not simply carrying your experience, but actively creating it? Light enters the eyes. Sound enters the ears. Pressure touches the skin. Air enters the lungs. Chemistry enters through food and water. Temperature moves across the body. Gravity pulls continuously on posture and balance. The world is constantly arriving, and the body is constantly translating. This translation happens so quickly that we rarely notice it. We assume we are simply experiencing reality. But in truth, we are experiencing reality through the body that is meeting it. The body does not merely receive information, it interprets it, filters it, organizes it, responds to it, and in many cases predicts it, long before conscious thought arrives. A simple example can help illustrate this. Imagine walking through a forest. If you are well rested, well nourished, comfortable, and calm, the forest may feel beautiful, peaceful, inviting. You may notice the birds, the sunlight, the movement of leaves, the smell of the earth. Now imagine walking through the same forest while exhausted, hungry, anxious, and under pressure. The forest has not changed, but the experience of it may change dramatically. The sounds may feel sharper, the shadows may feel heavier, the uncertainty may feel more threatening. The body meeting the environment has changed, and therefore the experience changes. This is one of the central ideas of Volume 2. We do not meet reality directly. We meet reality through biology. Not because reality is fake, not because nothing is true, but because every human nervous system filters the world through its own condition. Sleep influences perception. Breath influences perception. Inflammation influences perception. Stress influences perception. Pain influences perception. Posture influences perception. Hormones influence perception. Memory influences perception. State influences perception. The body is constantly helping determine what becomes noticeable, what becomes important, what becomes threatening, what becomes beautiful, what becomes invisible. In this sense, the body is not passive, it is participating. Some researchers describe the brain as a prediction machine, a system constantly attempting to anticipate what will happen next. But the brain never works alone. The entire organism participates. The eyes gather information, the ears gather information, the skin gathers information, the muscles gather information, the gut gathers information, the heart contributes information, the immune system contributes information. The body is not a collection of separate departments. It is a conversation, a living negotiation occurring across trillions of cells and countless biological processes. And somehow, out of that conversation, a human experience emerges. This is why two people can witness the same event and leave with entirely different impressions, different histories, different bodies, different nervous systems, different predictions, different internal conditions. The same world, different experience. The body helps shape the lens. This idea becomes particularly important when we begin judging ourselves. Many people assume every thought is a reflection of character. Every emotion is a reflection of identity. Every reaction is a reflection of personality. But sometimes what appears psychological may have biological influences beneath it. A poor night of sleep, weeks of accumulated stress, physical pain, fatigue, hunger, inflammation, hormonal shifts, loss, grief, environmental overload. The same world, different experience. The body helps shape the lens. None of these completely determine our behavior. We remain responsible for our actions. But understanding the biological layer may help us approach ourselves with greater clarity and less unnecessary shame. Sometimes the first question is not, "What is wrong with me?" Sometimes the better question is, "What is happening within me? What signals are arriving? What set is the body currently in? What conditions are shaping this moment?" Because often, before the story appears, the body has already spoken. This does not make us prisoners of biology, quite the opposite. Understanding the body gives us more options, more awareness, more leverage, more compassion. If the body participates in experience, then caring for the body may influence experience. Sleep may matter. Movement may matter. Breath may matter. Nutrition may matter. Environment may matter. Connection may matter. Recovery may matter. Not because they guarantee happiness, not because they solve every problem, but because they help shape the interface through which life is encountered. And perhaps that is one of the most important shifts we can make. To stop seeing the body as an object and begin seeing it as a living participant in experience. A bridge between the world outside and the world within. A translator, a mediator, a living interface. And the more clearly we understand that interface, the more clearly we may begin to understand ourselves. Because before the world becomes a thought, it first becomes a signal. And before we explain our experience, the body is already meeting it. That is the living interface. And that is where understanding begins. The body is not separate from experience. It is one of the places experience happens. And perhaps the more carefully we learn to listen to the body, the more clearly we begin to hear life itself.